Artificial intelligence as a cluster or an area of interest is probably the biggest position in our portfolio today. We spent a lot of time working on this last year to try and find ways to benefit for what we see as a megatrend, essentially. And the megatrend is really essentially you getting information back that you didn't ask for, if that makes sense. And so the best example is your phone tells you how long it's going to take you to get home, even though you didn't ask for it, or where you parked your car. And there's two, to get that capability and to get that capability more advanced, there's two things, the companies that are doing this for you, and so Google Maps, let's use them as an example, there's two things they really want to know. One, who you are and everything about you, so that's the data. And two, to get it to you in the speed and time that's required, they need some serious compute power to manage all that data. And so if we just talk about the compute power straight off, this is essentially Google and Facebook's CapEx going up 55, 60% this year, and it's all going to hyperscale cloud data centers, and it's all going to raw compute, which is essentially memory. So that's Micron, Samsung, Hynix. It's all going to very high-end silicon, companies like NVIDIA, which is a very good performer last year, and Xilinx, et cetera. And so that's a space, and it's quite complicated, but we've done a lot of work there, and we're pretty happy with the bets that we've got there. The second space, the data, is much easier. And so ultimately, they need to know everything about you. And so they get that from your likes on Facebook, or they get that from your search history. But the other place they get that from, and I think we've got an interesting angle here, is from the credit bureaus. We're interested in any company that owns a lot of data. And the companies that are out there that own a lot of data are the credit bureaus. They've been collecting it for 30 years. They got it just for mortgage and credit card applications, but now it has other uses. They use it for healthcare, they use it for means testing, and now Silicon Valley's getting involved wanting that data. And so if they match your Facebook data with your credit data, they can pretty much identify exactly where you live and know everything about you. And that's very important because then they compute that data to give you the answers that you want when you didn't ask for them. So on the data side, you could use anybody from, so on the credit bureau side, we'd point to Equifax. People in Australia would know Equifax because they took over Veda a couple of years ago, which was the big credit bureau here in Australia. Experian in the UK, TransUnion in the US are probably the three biggest ones. But there are smaller ones in Italy and in other countries. And then on top of that, moving down the data scale, you can look at companies like Market, you can look at companies like S&P Global have a lot of data. And you can even look at a realestate.com or a carsales.com. They have data sets that are quite valuable that they haven't really monetized yet. And we would say the same with something like an Auto Trader in the UK.